ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदातं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः. The nectar of thy words revives the scorched spirit of human beings. They purify the sinner and are the life of the holy. To hear them itself is auspicious and peace generating. They are the real givers who spread thy name far and wide. Om. Welcome to this Friday scripture class, and today's scripture is the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. The chapter is Festival at Surendra's House. In the previous Gospel class, we studied that how Sri Ramakrishna said that to work as karma yoga is difficult, but that is what can lead to spiritual realization. And it is about working without attachment for name and fame, to take the credit in success of the work, to work without the giving importance of the ego, to work without the feeling of doership. That is extremely difficult, as Sri Ramakrishna says. And he said, from where the idea of I am the doer comes, and without being even thinking that I'm doing karma yoga, I do without any attachment, the attachment creeps in. That's why he says, for the Kali Yuga, the path of Narada is very important. So he dwelt a lot on the Karma Yoga because someone complained that in England, people are mostly working for the sake of doing something great. And Sri Ramakrishna says it's not only in England. Here also, very few are the karma yogis. Mostly there are karmis or those who work. But really, who make the work into yoga, there are very few people. Whether in the West or in India, it is same, says Sri Ramakrishna. It is on page 452, towards the end of the page, the second last paragraph. A devotee. Then what is the way for those who have not seen God? Must they give up all the duties of the world? Because Sri Ramakrishna also emphasized the renunciation and making the work less. That's what he had said. So those who have not realized God, how to work, what to do. So work brings attachment. That is the thing. So he emphasized in praying for removing the works and making yourself less bound to your duties. So by that you can spend more time on spiritual practice. So very important question the devotee asks. Then what is the way? What is the way for spiritual progress for householders? So we have to give up all the duties of the world and only repeat God's name and prayer. And that is the question comes as Narada's way of divine love is singing the glory of God, repeating the name of God, and praying to God. That is what Narada said. And so is that the only way, relinquishing all the duties? We should do only prayer and japam and meditation and scriptural reading and no work. So, but how is that possible for householders? So Sri Ramakrishna says now, Master, the best path for this age is Bhakti Yoga, the path of Bhakti prescribed by Narada. What is that path? To sing the name and glories of God and pray to Him with a longing heart. The longing heart praying is important. And how to pray and what to pray? Oh God, give me knowledge, give me devotion, and reveal thyself to me. That is the basic prayer with longing to God that give me knowledge of reality, Give me devotion to your lotus feet and pray to him with a longing that to pray that way and repeat the name of God. So the path of karma is extremely difficult. That's karma yoga. Therefore, one should pray, O God, make my duties fewer and fewer, and may I, through thy grace, do the few duties that thou givest me without any attachment to their results. May I have no desire to be involved in many activities. A human being, by its very nature, his very nature, her very nature, are prone to do something. Without working, we don't like. We want to work. Swami Vivekananda also started this great Ramakrishna movement, and he emphasized very much the karma yoga because work he emphasized. As human beings are prone to work, they like work, to do work. So he said there is a method of working, karmasu kaushalam. What is the kaushala? What is the trick of that working, which instead of binding, it can lead you to freedom. Very work that binds can lead us to freedom if we can do work in a right with a right attitude. The same work. So right attitude is not to own the doership, that I am the doer. Then who is the doer? Doer is God. Either God is making my mind and hands and intellect working, or to think that God has made me instrument and by his power I am working. He has allowed me to work. He has given me power to work. That's why I am working. All the credit of work to be given to God. So when we remember God in our action, whatever good happens, whenever praise comes, when people say we have done fantastic work, so, but we then are able to feel in the heart that I was not the doer, it was God being done by something that God has given in the form of this, my body. And this body's different parts work together and thing achieved. But why should I get credit for that? It is all God has made that way. God is to be thanked or praised. Praise the Lord. So he is the doer. I am not the doer. Another is Jnana Yoga, path of Jnana Yoga that supports bhakti, that supports karma, that the work is done by nature. Nature as this body and this body different activities and what is different this brain and thought and all are being done by the nature itself, and I as the witness is just witness consciousness. I am doing nothing. I'm just as a witness, I'm just doing and not involved in the work at all. But nature's that part that I often, by mistake, identify with this body. This body is working, but this is not I. I, in fact, is non-doer principle, non-doing principle. I don't do any action. So that is the Jnana Yogi's path. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto mannet tattvavid. I am doing nothing, says the wise person, tattvavid. Pashyan, Srinvan, Nisprishan, Jigran. All the actions are going on. Seeing, hearing, all the actions are going on. But all that is being done by the senses on the sense objects. I, as the witness, am doing nothing. I am just resting at peace. I am just a witness. That is the Tattvavid, the wise person of Jnana Yogi does that way. So that is another way, supported by Jnana Yogi, also you can become Karma Yogi. Supported by Bhakti Yogi, God is making me do the things. I am not the doer. He has given all the power, all the intellect, all the skill is of God. He is utilizing this body, mind, intellect into performance of some work, and that's being done. That's a Karma Yogi, the Bhakti Yoga combined with Karma Yoga, and that becomes the kaushala of the work. And when that happens, you are not bound by the work. No praise can touch you because praise is the one which boosts our ego. And then whenever you start seeking praise, and if somebody doesn't praise you, people often say, "Oh, you didn't even praise. How did I give lecture? How did I sing? What type of food I had? You didn't even praise." So total lack of karma yoga. Always the I sense of in doing action is very prominent. This is very natural. It's not that something wrong, but there is a scope to grow from that attitude that I am the doer. When I feel that I am not the doer, God is making me do the things. It's all by God's power. All action has been done. So then the person doesn't seek any credit in the doing the things. He is detached from the doership. That's what is karma yoga. And it is Sri Ramakrishna says it is very difficult. Rather bhakti yoga where you do the things and pray to God that may my actions be less and less. So what happens when we grow as a householder? We have certain duties to nurture family, to raise children. For that, we have to go and work in the office, earn money, and look after children and their growth. Everything we are very intensely involved in the raising our children and maintaining our household. And that often the ego is a main important player in that. I am doing, this is my son, that is my daughter, that is my husband, that is my wife. Always this I and mine thing, very strongly I and mine. So what Sri Ramakrishna said that maybe for the time being it has come to you, but you those are all unreal things. You should always evolve from such ideas and get detached from the idea of I am the doer. And slowly bring in the fact that these are the children, these are the God's gift to me, and I was so happy to work for them, but they grew by their own quality, by their own character, by their own samskaras. They have become good persons. I was just an instrument, and it was by good God's great gift, God's grace on me that I got such children in my life, such spouse in my life, such parents in my life, such siblings in my life. All was by the grace of God that He made me a part of this family. And I was very happy them, to serve them, to nothing to gain from them. So when we have that type of attitude that I am blessed to be involved in this family, involved with this company, involved with these friends and colleagues, involved with this devotees in the church or temple, we should, when we sit, when we feel a sort of blessedness, there is the thankfulness goes to God, and we become very humble and grateful to God for providing us so many good people in our life, so many good people. And then our humility increases, our arrogance comes down. Otherwise, there is a lot of arrogance. When there is arrogance in the heart, we always feel I am the great and others are small, and all we find all limitation and lesser things and defects in others. So this person is that, that person is that. It gets so much filled in upon within us, seeing the defective others. Even if we say 1,000 times to a person, don't find it. Holy Mother said, and that person may be repeating the Holy Mother's name, Srima, 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 a lot like 1 hour doing Srima, but not able to catch Holy Mother's teaching. Don't find fault with others. Never try to do that. Actually, by trying, it will happen. Without trying, it won't happen. Even you can listen 1,000 times this thing and read 1,000 times in the book. But if you do not try to not find fault in others, fault finding will be there, because it is nature of a person. It is the prakriti of a person. Hmm? Person has to be samskriti, means culture has to come, the spirituality has to come. So this is the finding fault is the prakriti, and when there is a lot of finding faults and only arrogance, I am the thing, I am the best, all are have so many defects, then it becomes vikriti of the prakriti. Prakriti is also not there. It has distorted prakriti. You are not even human being. Even animals will not be so much self-centered. You become too much think good about yourself and think all defect in others. And that is the vikriti of the prakriti. But our goal is to attain Sanskriti, reformation, culture, spirituality. Spirituality makes us smooth and mild and sweet in nature and brings the quality called humility. Humility is trying to find oneness with all. Humility makes you feel that, and it starts seeing goodness in others. So this is just the transformation of how we can change our eyes upon others. So you do not see defect in others, You only see good things start coming from the same person. When we see all bad thing other, evil in others, so there is a lot of scope for our spiritual upliftment, spiritual growth. Japam, repeating God's name, doing karma yoga, serving a holy person, all these are good. But if they do not bring any result, that means uh, there is no fault in serving. We just become our mindset has become so much a barrier, a block, a haze, so that the change in our heart has not come. So to make the change in the heart, effort has to come. The conscious effort that I will not find defects in others. I will not judge others. So then the work becomes karma yoga. Then you become friendly with others. You cannot see any problem in other persons. That becomes spiritual growth is coming. That's how it happens. So for that, this karma yoga or start serving others, doing something selflessly, unselfishly to for others. That is very important. But again, that selfishness comes. How do you find my working? How do you like my cooking? How did you see my lecturing? Like those things comes, and when person doesn't praise, then you didn't praise me. So if you seek praise, there is no karma yoga. It's very much karma only, which binds us, which cannot make us spiritual. It doesn't become a spiritual practice. It just becomes your effort. When we do something good, we should not seek anything from human being. That when we seek something, reward, award, praise from human beings, so for we have removed the purpose, real purpose of doing. If we have to seek anything, let us seek from God, because God is the doer of all. So we can talk to God. Lord, I tried to do this, that you had given me the power and the intellect. By that I did this. How did you like by doing that? Make me do great works for your sake, to glorify you, not I, but thou. So they say there was very wonderful sculptor was there during Christian time. So he built a beautiful, most exquisite image of a bird, beautifully done, carved, as if living bird in medieval times. And so everybody praised, what a great person. So whoever had seen that, and what he did, the sculptor did, he put in the ceiling at the attic, and that was all hidden from the human beings. No human could see that. Then his friends who had seen that sculpture, they said, "You did such a fantastic thing, carved in the stone, such a beautiful bird. And why didn't you put the so people can see and enjoy that beautiful thing, and they can you'll be appreciated so much for your great sculpture." So he said, "No, I don't want any glory or praise from human being. I want praise from God. If I keep it hidden and human being do not praise, then God will praise. God will see that what I have done. Little ego, but ego connected with God, not connected with human beings. He wants God to appreciate that and know that God sees everything when others don't see. So that is another way of doing karma yoga. Everything related to God. So in fact, karma yoga is that when we do things for seemingly for the world, but actually for the sake of God. So you send some money in and donate some money to some charitable or some place where there is the need of natural calamity. And whom you want to thank? Not the government, not the president of the country, but you want God to see and God to be pleased. Only to please God becomes the aim. So that is a little modified ego. And later on you do the work, and you don't want anybody to know. They say the work should be done in such a way the right hand gives and left hand doesn't know. That Tulsi Das and Rahim's, the beautiful story is there. Tulsi Das saw Rahim was giving some gifts, some donation to the poor people. But when he was giving, when his hands lifted high to give the things, his eyes went down and head went bowed down. So Tulsidas asked him, what is the matter when you are giving the things? Why your eyes lids were drooping down, hands were raising to give, but eyelids were drooping down and you were closing the eyes. So Rahim then replies in another, there's a beautiful couplet of those two great saintly poets written to each other. And Rahim says, because of I was little afraid, I was shameful that when I give the things, that people may feel that it is I who am giving and forget the real giver, that God is the real giver. I just put the things and give to them as an instrument of God. If in case people may not feel wrongly, mistakenly think that I am the giver, in that I feel like ashamed if they think wrongly that I am the giver. So that is the attitude of Karma Yogi. I am not the doer, you are the doer, O Lord. Naham Naham Tuhu Tuhu. Sri Ramakrishna's beautiful expression of how to practice Karma Yoga. Naham Naham Tuhu Tuhu. Let's continue. Page 453. It is not possible to give up work altogether. Even to think or to meditate is a kind of work. As you develop love for God, your worldly activities become fewer and fewer of themselves, and you lose all interest in them. Can one who has tasted a drink made of sugar candy enjoy a drink made of ordinary molasses? So in Bengali, he says that মিশ্রির পানা খেলে চিটে গুড়ের জল ছা হয়ে যায়. You don't enjoy the molasses drink if you have the sugar candy drink you had got. So better things. When you work for God, it is so much of inner joy, inner progress, that when you work for the people and were seeking the praise or recognition from the people, that becomes so low taste. That is no taste at all. No praise from the people can be now satisfied. You want Lord to be pleased with you. So that is how the thing should be. The more love for God develops, more connection with God develops with your karma yoga. There is no way that we can get rid of work. Work will be there. So everything that we perform with our body or with our mind is the work. So we cannot get rid of work. So the thing is, as you develop love for God, your worldly activities become fewer and fewer of themselves. Now, worldly activities, that is the thing. The activity done with attachment towards the world or to satisfy the world is worldly activities. Same activity we do for the pleasure of God, for the joy of God, then they become not worldly activities. Maybe you are looking after your child, but with the thought that God will be pleased if I raise this gift of God, this person that God has given me. So connection is with the God. So then it doesn't become worldly activities. It becomes divine activities. It becomes Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva. So that will happen. God will come in place of the world when we start thinking of God in our world. A devotee. The English people always exhort us to be active. Isn't action the aim of life then? You see, Sri Ramakrishna has been always saying the aim, the main purpose of life, main ultimate goal of life is to realize God. And how this Western culture saying the aim of life is to remain active, to do something, to create something. Swami Vivekananda also said to the young people, when you are born, keep some mark in the world. Now, keeping the mark in the world, doing something great, making something great that people remember, making some great, whatever you say, remains like permanent. That is one way to think, keeping the mark. You excel in your studies, you are great in your work, you are great in building something. So that is keeping the mark. If you are an architect, you create such a building that remains. Who made this? Oh, this is made by that architect of Spain, Barcelona, like that thing. You can do that, but that is not the keeping the mark in the world. There is another way to keep the mark in the world. That person who was born that way, that day, it is so wonderful, so humble, so devoted to God, so pure. that mark remains even after the building will be that will be lost, and then will be cracking down after a few thousand years, but the person's glory will always remain. To become more spiritual is really leaving the mark in the world. So that way also you can explain when Swamiji says, when you are born in the human being in the world as a human being, leave your mark. Master. The aim of life is the attainment of God. Clear, crystal clear. There is no doubt, there is no duality, there is no confusion about that. The aim of life is the attainment of God. Work is only a preliminary step, it can never be the end. Even unselfish work is only a means, it is not the end. That is also often we confuse that to work for the good of others, as if that is the main goal of life, or my life should be dedicated for making others' life happy, making others' life comfortable. So that often we may think that way, but that is also not the goal of life. Goal of life is to attain God. May my work that I may achieve make other people happy so that Lord is pleased. So ultimately connecting with the Lord, not only just connecting with the human beings, connecting with the human beings by doing something great and noble is a path towards connection to God. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna clearly says. Even unselfish work is only a means, it is not the end. Often that is the very confused idea that we should live for others. They alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive, says Swami Vivekananda. Tomorrow is Swami Vivekananda's birthday, according to Hindu lunar calendar, according to Tithi. So he said that they alone live who live for others, the rest are more dead than alive. So it is nothing you want. You do things for others alone. You have fully dedicated yourself for the welfare of others. What happens in this case, as Sri Ramakrishna says, even unselfish work is only a means, it is not the end. Why we want to do good to the world? Not just to make life little comfortable or little some people educated, some people will get be educated, or a few more people will get the treatment. That doesn't solve the world's problem. That is not the goal. By doing unselfish work, work of service to others, I become spiritually enlightened, I grow spiritually. That is the goal of doing unselfish work, work of service for others. If it is only seva, that without then that seva bringing, trying to bring all glory to yourself. What a great person! He made so many hospitals. If there is one great spiritual guru in India, in South India, and she has built one great hospital in Kerala, and now she made one very big specialty hospital near Delhi. If she thinks I have done so much good for the people of the world, so that will not be a saintly work. She doesn't think that way. She does it for the good of the world, so that God is pleased, as if God has asked her to do that much. So that the pain and suffering of others will be relieved, and her that is her way of worship to God. Her all donation and her all her connection to the people, whatever people out of love give to her, she all transforms that for the service of the people of the country. So that way it becomes unselfish work, knowing fully that is a means for realization of God. So that's how it comes. Even the unselfish work um, is not the goal of life. Unselfish work just a mean of life. It is it is a means to realize God. Even unselfish work is only a means. It is not the end. So very important, very deep word. So it is at the end. But before that, if we do some work for others only, even with a little ego, that is also much better than only living for oneself. One who lives for oneself is dead. One lives for others is a real living person. In that also, there are categories of how to refine the idea of working for others. So that's what Sri Ramakrishna makes it find out. He gives an example here. Shambhu Malik once said to me, "Please bless me, sir, that I may spend all my money for good purposes." such as building hospitals and dispensaries, making roads, and digging wells. So this is so wonderful. He came to Sri Ramakrishna. He was connected. Sri Ramakrishna used to talk to him. He was inspired and he used to like to visit Sri Ramakrishna. In fact, Sri Ramakrishna saw that Christ living in the Sambhu Malik used to come and read Bible to Sri Ramakrishna. Uh, he understood many things from the Bible from Sambhu Malik. So he said that may I invest all my earning for the good of others. Such a great idea, not for myself, not for my progeny to children and grandchildren, but he really wanted to do spend money for the welfare of others. But that is the highest ideal what he could think. We also think that is what a wonderful Warren Buffett and others in America, the great people, Swami Vivekananda inspired Ford to do that, like that thing, not Ford, what is his name? So like that is the thing. Um, we always say that praise that spending money for the service of others, great work. But Sri Ramakrishna insight makes it still better. There is a higher attitude than only doing good to others. It is just the secondary. It is the not the highest attitude that you want to do good to others. To live for only yourself is animalistic. To work for others so that others are benefited, that is very human. But there is a higher spiritual thing for to live for. It will be good if we can do these things in a spirit of detachment. So very praise it very much. Detachment, thinking that I am not the doer. Don't feel yourself as the doer and do these things. But that is very difficult. One has to be very careful. Whatever you may do, you must always remember that the aim of life of yours is the attainment of God and not the building of hospitals and dispensaries. So that is the real purpose of life. Building of hospitals and dispensaries is not the real purpose of life. Nonetheless, that is good if you can do with the spirit of detachment. Suppose God appeared before you and said to you, accept a boon from me, God saying. Would you then ask him, oh God, build me some hospitals and dispensaries? Or would you not rather pray to him, oh God, may I have pure love for your lotus feet? May I have your uninterrupted vision? Hospitals, dispensaries, and all such things are unreal. God alone is real, and all else unreal. Furthermore, after realizing God, one feels that He alone is the doer and we are but His instruments. Then why should we forget Him and destroy ourselves by being involved in too many activities? After realizing Him, one may, through His grace, become His instrument in building many hospitals and dispensaries. So, making hospitals and dispensaries is not the goal of life. That realization of God is the goal of life. And by karma yoga, we can realize God. By bhakti yoga, we can realize God. And when we realize God, if God really chooses us to be His instrument, He will make many things do through us. Why only one hospital and one dispensary? He can make many things do through us, and that time we will do all the things without any ego, without any attachment, just being an instrument of God. Otherwise, if in the beginning we do without realization of God, then every possibility of ego coming to us. That doesn't mean that we should not work for the good of others. We should work. Little ego will be there. Yet we should remember the words of Sri Ramakrishna that doing good to others, helping others in their education or health treatment is not the goal of life. It is only a means to the goal of life. Goal of life is attainment of God. After all, the whole world is unreal. It is for the time being. Till we are alive, it seems so real. When we die, when we close our eyes at death, everything vanishes into naught. Nothing is here in the world. So that is the reality of the world. For the time being, till we are alive in this world seems to be so real, and with all consequences, cause and effect, and all that. After we die, nothing is real. All is just a dream. It was the dream. So like that, it happens. So for this, we cannot put all our effort that is needed to do for realization of God. So that is the thing. So doing things, when we do good for others, great. Go on doing good for others. And that time we should be always aware that this is being done by the grace of God for the service of the children of God. I have been chosen to do that by God's grace. I'm so grateful and thankful to God for choosing me, but I have no power to serve. So, by that way, you can ward off our ego. Otherwise, ego is boosted. All effort to do good to others become like you become. If ego comes, even in good things, there is the ego chance of very much chance of ego coming for the person who do good to the world, because praise comes, then the awards come, that recognition comes, government recognizes, then people recognize what a great saintly person, how much he works, like that thing you say, yes, yes. And somebody then criticizes, then you become angry with that person. He doesn't know, what does he know? So mean person I have not seen. What is that about your? So because everybody was praising, one person was critic of you. And then he says, then you know what he knows nothing, he's just a critic. And you become have ill, very sour feeling about that person, a bitter feeling about that person. And that is not karma yoga. You have not been feeling that way. Praise or blame are nothing for a karma yogi. They do not matter. That's what in Niti Shatakam of Bhartrihari, Swami Vivekananda quotes, it is said, Bhartrihari is written, that Nindantu Niti Nipuna Yadiva Istuvantu Lakshmim Samadhi Vipishatu Gachatu Va Yatestam Addaiva Va Maranamastu Shatantarev Nyayat Patha Pravichalanti Padam Nadhira. Wise person who tread the path of justice, path of path of good work, they do not care whether people praise you or blame you, and whether wealth comes to you or wealth goes. Lakshmi Sama Visuddhi Gachati Vaitistam. Whether you die today, you die after 100 years, doesn't care matter at all, because Addaiva va maranamastu satantareva Nyayat patha pravichalanti padam nadhira. So they are very firm in the path of their activity because they are wise, dhira, wise people. That's what the sign of a man of character. They are not. They do not waver from the path of righteousness, those who do good, just for some praise or some blame. So one should be able to digest, and this ability to digest comes when our ego is curbed. So otherwise, arrogance, haughtiness can come. It is not only for the doer of good things in the world that often it happens. It is always good to do good to the world, but these are the higher stage. They're in the higher stage. With the ego, you do good. That is also much better than not doing good, not doing good and leading a selfish life. Much, much better. So with ego is there, you are sensitive to praise and blame. That is also fine. But there is higher stage when you can convert your doing good to others to a higher state, when you don't seek anything and every act of yours brings you bliss, joy, and is not dependent on what others comment upon you. So Sri Ramakrishna talks about that even higher stage of our attitude of working to others. And when God will come and say, now build the hospitals, then we build the hospitals without any ego. Otherwise, ego will come, says Sri Ramakrishna. This is what is karma yoga comes, karma and karma yoga. They were saying it is not only those who work for the good of others, they often may become egoistic, but there is egoism in even the spiritual life. that is more dangerous. Holier than thou attitude, they say. So often that happens among the devotees also. I am a senior devotee. That person came just few 1 month ago, and he works like he belongs to the center. So there is so much of ego in the devotees who have very devoted, dedicated life in the centers, in the churches and temples. They won't allow others to do. So ego is full of ego. That should not be there. I am allowed to work by the grace of God. That type of idea should be there. And there is the ego that, oh, I do so much of japam, and these people come and only work something in the kitchen and something, they go away. Where is real prayer they do? They do not even sit for meditation, even for 15 minutes. Only khandana, what they do, where their mind goes. And you start always judging other people. Where your mind, you don't judge yourself. Only other people judging, full focus on other people. So that type of arrogance may come for a spiritual person, person, a devotee of God. Even those who are people who do not have that type of thing, not a devotee who are very much involved and lead a really religious life, spiritual life, they may be very egoistic. Oh, I am a sadhu, I am a Babaji, I belong to this organization, inner circle, and they are just devotees and they are saying like that. Such type of ideas may also come. We have to be always very careful. Swami Premananda used to always say, Are sadhu savdhan. Oh monk, be careful that ego doesn't come. Ego creeps in. Thakur says, from where does it come? You don't know. You have to be very careful about not letting ego come to you. I am holy person, I am a sadhu, I am a Babaji, I have renounced the world. What world you have renounced? You are very worldly. Swami Tyaganand said very nicely that you have not renounced the idea that you are the body, that body identification you have not renounced, then how can you be a monk? Still you are grihastha. Your body is your griha. You think this, you always carry your body in your attitude and ideas. So till you are you identify with the body, this is the griham, sariram griham. So when body is always your identify, this is my body, then everyone is grihastha. You may live in the forest, but you are a grihastha because you identify with the body. When you are able to identify not with the body but with the spirit, then only you are a real renouncer, you are a spiritual person. So spiritual path is quite, we have to tread quite far. That is the thing. Sri Ramakrishna continues. Therefore, I say again that work is only the first step. It can never be the goal of life. Devote yourself to spiritual practice and go forward. Through the through practice, you will advance more and more in the path of God. At last, you will come to know that God alone is real and all else is illusory, and that the goal of life is the attainment of God. This is the knowledge, jnana yoga, that this God alone is real and all else illusory. This all appears like a dream, and this doesn't sustain. It is not permanent. It is not the real thing that is there. God alone is real. Ishwari Bostu are sab Obostu. They are not the real stuff. Whatever is perceived, this creation is all appearance, and God alone is real. That idea comes, and what idea comes? It says the idea, and that the goal of life is the attainment of God. Such type of ideas come when we grow spiritually. So the work is the first step. Again, that is important. Work, service, as you see in the Bhagavatam, as we read in the Uddhava Gita, that you should come to the temple, you should work, make the garden there, clean the temple, and then do the service. These are all first step in spiritual path. Those are very important. You serve the Lord, you decorate the image, you participate in celebration. Those are all the first step in making yourself spiritual. If you are not connected with temple or church and do nothing for the devotees, for the joy of devotees, then you have not grown even the first step. So, but that is the first step when we are connected to some religious place, some spiritual place, and help to make its function, its activities go well, and support the activities through our volunteerism, or through financial things, or through advice, through prayer. And you feel joy in the temple or church that is growing. People come, you feel joy when more people come and are connected to the ideal and make their life spiritual, find peace in life, that you feel greater joy that people are coming, connecting, new people coming. Whenever someone new comes, you feel joy, and you try to feel that how to make that person connect with the society. Suppose people coming to society, we have one very nice devotee. Whenever person comes, he's a senior now, and whenever comes, he will sit there, talk to that person, make him or her feel that it is an organization, people are friendly, and they go with the impression people are really friendly, and they come again and again. So like that, we have to have attitude that they should feel that people are welcome here. Whenever new person comes, they should feel that they are welcome in here, because we are all children of Sri Ramakrishna. They say we represent Sri Ramakrishna in different degrees. So Sri Ramakrishna always will welcome everybody coming. His door is to be open day and night. His place should be open. People used to go even at the midnight. They would go to Sri Ramakrishna's room, and he never said no. He never said, "Do not come now. I'm resting." Nothing. He always welcomed people. And when we are a little part of Sri Ramakrishna would carry, then we should welcome people and make them feel that they have come to the place. People are so good. And in making yourself good, you are not making yourself good, that you are just reflecting the little ray of Sri Ramakrishna, who is like a sun. So that is the way we should work, and that gives a great joy to live for the ideal that we represent. That ideal is there, that we represent that ideal in lesser or greater degree, every one of us. Once upon a time, a woodcutter went into a forest to chop wood. There suddenly he met a brahmachari. The holy man said to him, "My good man, go forward." On returning home, the woodcutter asked himself, "Why did the brahmachari tell me to go forward?" Some time passed. One day, he remembered the brahmachari's words. He said to himself, "Today I shall go deeper into the forest." Going deep into the forest, he discovered innumerable sandalwood trees. He was very happy and returned with cart loads of sandalwood. He sold them in the market and became very rich. Just he said, go forward, don't be stagnant, don't think that it is sufficient. The place I am is enough. That what somehow Guru said, repeat this mantra for 108 times in the morning and in the evening. I'm doing that is all. That is not going forward. We have to go forward from that. That is just the beginning of the thing. So the woodcutter story says, just the brahmachari said, go forward. He was earning money to survive. But remember, holy man came and said, go forward. Nothing. He said more. But there must be some meaning. It must be the instruction of God through the holy person, through brahmachari. He went there and he found sandalwood. A few days later, he again remembered the words of the holy man to go forward. He went deeper into the forest and discovered a silver mine near a river. This was even beyond his dreams. He dug out silver from the mine and sold it in the market. He got so much money that he didn't even know how much he had. So, go forward. That he had remembered. Don't be stagnant. Go forward. In our spiritual sense, take more spiritual practice. There is no end of spiritual practice until you have realized God. You have to go forward. A few more days passed. One day he thought, the brahmachari didn't ask me to stop at the silver mine. He told me to go forward. This time, he went to the other side of the river and found a gold mine. Then he exclaimed, "Ah, just see, this is why he asked me to go forward." Again, a few days afterwards, he went still deeper into the forest and found heaps of diamonds and other precious gems. He took these also and became as rich as the god of wealth himself, like Kuvera. So the story says there is so much to gain in the spiritual life. There are the gold and diamonds strewn are waiting for us to discover and own. And we just have to go forward. That Brahmachari said for the this for the wealth, worldly wealth, but ours is the spiritual wealth. Much more time valuable, much more time permanent than this gold and diamond of the world. Our spiritual wealth is so much there waiting for us. Just we need to go forward. So beautifully, Sri Ramakrishna said that person became richer than Kubera. So therefore, I say that whatever you do, you will find better and better things if only you go forward. You may feel a little ecstasy as the result of japa, but don't conclude from this that you have achieved everything in the spiritual life. Work is by no means the goal of life. Go forward, and then you will be able to perform unselfish work. Work is important, okay? Work is very, very important. Work will develop into unselfish work. So, unselfish work becomes from work with some desire, work with ego. Then it will convert into unselfish work. But again, I say that it is most difficult to perform unselfish work. Therefore, with love and longing in your heart, pray to God, O God, grant the devotion at thy lotus feet and reduce my worldly duties. Please grant me the boon that the few duties I must do may be done in a detached spirit. If you go still further, you will realize God. You will see Him in time. You will converse with Him. That is finding the diamond, oh, diamond mines that as the Brahmachari got. So this is what is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling the story of go forward in spiritual life. So beautifully, Sri Ramakrishna described that there is no staying at one place, little joy in meditation, little doing japam, one day concentration, one day form of your ishta comes clearly. And not that you have achieved everything, nothing you have achieved it. So you go further and pray to God intensely that I should always see you. When Swami Vivekananda went to see Kali first time by the Sri Ramakrishna's instruction, go to Mother Kali and pray to her, and she will grant you whatever you pray. And when he has done that, then she saw Mother Kali there. And there he said that, what does he pray? Give me viveka, vairagya, and give me knowledge, give me devotion, and give me uninterrupted vision of yours. That is what she says. Gyan dao, bhakti dao, vivek dao, vairagya dao. Give me knowledge, give me devotion, give me viveka, give me vairagya, and give me your uninterrupted vision. May I be able to see you always. In the first mm, visit to Kali temple, he could see the Divine Mother there. All mother, as it were, mother was waiting for her dear Naren to come and see me. It is like mother revealing, was eager to reveal herself to Naren. And seeing Naren, realizing God, he had that prayer. Grant me that may I have your uninterrupted vision. So here also Sri Ramakrishna says that pray for that may I have your uninterrupted vision. Um, and that's what he says. You will see him, and in time you will converse with him. So seeing him is the proof that God is real. Hmm? God came, and you can see God. There is no doubt about God being there. Now this is the connection with God is established. Still greater connection is when you start talking with God. God becomes more real. As we, for the worldly people, the world is real, human beings are real. That God becomes real because you talk with Him, you ask questions, He gives you ask instruction, then He talks to you. Like Dhruva, when he was praying and doing tapasya, Narayana came to him. And he was so bright, illumined, Narayana with Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. He's standing there, and then just smiling face. Then the Dhruva said to him, Lord, but why your earring are not moving? You are like static quo. You are just standing. Why your earring are not moving like human beings? Still that thing. Then Lord said to him, it is up to you, O Dhruva, to move these earrings. Your bhakti will make it move. Your bhakti has made my presence here. So when you say let those earrings move, then they will ring, they will move. So it is the God becomes totally under the wish of a devotee. The mature devotee is like that. You ask question, God replies to you, as it happened always with Sri Ramakrishna. Goes to Holy Divine Mother, Mother Kali. Should I learn Vedanta? This person has come, seems to be a very enlightened person, but I don't know whether I should learn Vedanta with him or not. So should I learn? He said, yes, yes, for that only I have brought him here for you to learn. It is not that he has come by chance and he is asking, will you learn Vedanta? That is the purpose. Divine Mother talking. Many questions. Mother Naren says, my visions are all hallucination. He just runs to Sri Rama, that Divine Mother. Then Mother says, what are you saying? What Naren knows? He's just a little baby. What does he know hallucinations are true or not? If those are not true, how everything comes true in life? If this is hallucination, how does it come true? So these are all true. Then comes to Naren. I will never listen to you. He made me worried that my visions are all true or not. I will not listen to you anymore. Like that, Sri Ramakrishna had so much conversation with Mother Kali. She was living always with Sri Ramakrishna. So that Sri Ramakrishna says, it is not unique to me. It can happen to everyone, and everyone should try to reach that state of when we can have the vision of God, we can talk to God, God becomes reality as this world. And when Swami Vivekananda asked, Sir, have you seen God? He said, I see God. He didn't say, I have seen God. You've seen and finished. Not that. I see God. And I see Him more intensely, more clearly than I am seeing you. See, the vision of God is so clear. It is then seeing with our eyes, we see so clear, we see. It's more clear when we see God. Vision is more clear. There's no trace of doubt that it is the vision of God, existence of God. Everything becomes without all doubts about God goes away. That's why Sri Ramakrishna Swami Vivekananda says, Shamsaya Rakshasa Nasa Mahastram. Sri Ramakrishna is the great weapon to kill the doubt about the existence of God. Through Sri Ramakrishna's life, we can cut off the doubt, remove the doubt that God is reality, God is present. This world is there, but it's all permeated with that all blissful God. How it is proven? How will our doubts go? By looking at Sri Ramakrishna, going deeper into the mind of Sri Ramakrishna. That will happen, it says. Thank you very much for today's class. Tomorrow is here in Toronto, we are celebrating Swami Vivekananda's Tithi Puja and also birthday celebration from 11 o'clock at the Vedanta Society of Toronto. Those who are near Toronto, they may visit if weather is good from 11 o'clock at 120 Emmet Avenue. Those who are in other cities far away, we do live streaming on YouTube. If you have time, please participate through joining the program at 11 o'clock. It goes from 11 to around 1 o'clock, 1:15. Now the closing chant. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhurmu. Thank you and good night to you all.